Hello students, how are you beta? I hope you are fine. So students, in our previous lecture, we started our first chapter, first part of chapter 5th, Indigo. In our previous lecture, we did the summary, message and theme of the lesson Indigo. Yesterday we read that on the request of Rajkumar Shukla, the poor sharecropper, Gandhiji visited Champaran. He worked for the sharecropper. Finally, he got victory and sharecropping disappeared from Champaran. Now, today we'll start the text. So, students, you can see that some red words are written between the text, and after that, in blue, the meanings of those words are given. So, you are requested to write the meanings of the difficult words in your book as well. So let us start the text. When I visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, I will tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the departure of the British. It was in 1917. The writer Louis Fisher said that he visited Gandhi. I. Who is I here? I is the writer, Louis Fisher. So he said that first he visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram. And when he met Gandhi, Gandhiji told him that it was in 1917 when he decided to urge the departure of the British. It means for the first time in 1917, Gandhiji decided to depart Britishers from India. He had gone to the December 1916 annual convention meeting of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. Who is he here? He refers to Gandhiji. He had gone to the December 1916 annual convention of the Indian National Congress. It means Gandhiji had gone to attend the meeting, the annual meeting of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. And when it had happened in December 1916, there were 2,301 delegates. Delegates means representatives, members, and many visitors. Gandhi said that in the annual convention of Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow, about 2,301 representatives as well as many other visitors were there. During the proceedings means during the works, during the process, Gandhi recounted. Recounted means record, said. A peasant means a farmer, came up to me looking like an another peasant in India, poor and emaciated. Emaciated means thin, weak, physically weak, and said, I am Rajkumar Shukla. Gandhiji said that during the proceeding, during the process, during the work, a peasant named Rajkumar Shukla, who was very poor and weak. He came there and he told Gandhiji that he was Rajkumar Shukla. And further he added, I am from Champaran and I want you to come to my district. So Gandhi said that Rajkumar Shukla came to him and he told Gandhiji that he was from Champaran and he wanted Gandhiji to come to his district. His district means Champaran. Gandhi had never heard of the place. It was on the foothills of the towering means high, Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. And at the time Gandhiji, he did not know anything about Champaran, and Champaran was situated in the foothills of the towering Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. So when Rajkumar Shukla came there, he told Gandhiji that he wanted him to come Champaran, but at that time Gandhiji did not know about that place. Under the ancient agreement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. Under an ancient arrangement, there was an ancient arrangement between the peasants and the British landlords, and according to that ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasants, the Champaran farmers were sharecroppers. Sharecroppers means the people, the farmers who give a part of their crop as rent to the owners. So under that arrangement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. One of them is one of those sharecroppers. He was illiterate but resolute. Resolute means determined. Firm. Rajkumar Shukla was illiterate. Though he was illiterate, yet he was determined. He was firm. He was resolute. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar, and somebody had probably said speak to Gandhi. And writer said that at that time Rajkumar Shukla, he had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice done by the British landlords in Bihar. And when he came there, somebody suggested him to meet Gandhiji. Gandhi told Shukla he had an appointment in Kanpur and was also committed to go to other parts of India. When Rajkumar Shukla asked Gandhiji to visit his district, Gandhiji told him about his prior engagements, and he said that he had an appointment in Kanpur and after that he had to go in different parts of India. Shukla accompanied him everywhere, and as I told you that Rajkumar Shukla, he was very much determined. So he accompanied Gandhiji wherever he went. Accompanied means go somewhere with someone as a companion or escort. So Rajkumar Shukla also accompanied Gandhiji wherever he went in India. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to the ashram. For weeks, he never left Gandhiji's side. Fix a date, he begged. And when Gandhiji returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad, Rajkumar Shukla also followed him to his ashram. And for many weeks, he did not leave Gandhiji's side. And he requested him, he begged him to fix a date. To fix a date means when he would come there and take him. Impressed by the sharecroppers' tenacity. Tenacity means determination. And story, Gandhi said, I had to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me and take me from there. Impressed by sharecroppers. Who is sharecropper here? Rajkumar Shukla. So Gandhiji was very much impressed by the determination showed by Rajkumar Shukla and the story told by him about the condition of sharecroppers. Gandhiji was very much impressed. And he told Rajkumar Shukla that he had to be in Calcutta on such and such date, and he asked him to come and meet him and take him from there. There means from Calcutta. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches. Haunches means knees, घुटनों के बल बैठना. At the appointed spot in Calcutta when Gandhi arrived. And in this way, months passed. Shukla kept on waiting for the date, and finally, when the day came, Rajkumar Shukla, he was sitting on the ground and waited for Gandhiji till he arrived. Then the two of them is Mahatma Gandhi as well as Rajkumar Shukla. So two of them boarded. Boarded means board means to get in, to take something for traveling. So then the two of them boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. And after that, Gandhiji went with Rajkumar Shukla, and both of them, they took a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. There, Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became the president of the Congress party and of India. And why they went Patna? Because at that time, Rajendra Prasad, the first president of Congress party as well as the Free India, he lived there. So he went there to meet Rajendra Prasad. Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but the servants knew Shukla as a poor yeoman. Yeoman means a man who cultivates a small piece of land, or you can say a farmer. So at that time, Rajendra Prasad, he was out of town, he was not at home, but his servants knew Rajkumar Shukla as a poor peasant, as a poor farmer who pestered means bothered, harassed their master to help the indigo sharecropper. Rajendra Prasad was not there, but his servants knew Shukla as a poor peasant who helped, who pestered, who bothered their master to help the indigo sharecropper. So they let him stay on the ground with his companion. Who was the companion? Rajkumar Shukla. At that time, Gandhiji was with Rajkumar Shukla. So they did not know Gandhiji. They knew Rajkumar Shukla as a poor peasant. So what they did? They let him stay on the ground with his companion. They let Rajkumar Shukla stay at the ground with his companion. Who was his companion? Gandhiji, whom they took to be another peasant. They thought that as Gandhiji was with a poor peasant, Gandhiji was with Rajkumar Shukla, so he was also a peasant, another peasant. So they let them sit on the ground. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well lest some drops from the bucket pollute the entire source. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? So students, see the line, but Gandhi was not permitted. Permitted means allowed to draw water, to fetch water, to pull water from the well, lest some drop of from his bucket pollute the entire source. It means they thought that Gandhiji was also a poor peasant as he came there with Rajkumar Shukla. So they took him as untouchable. So here we come to know that untouchability was there in the society. The means the people, the poor people, they considered untouchable there. So Gandhiji was also considered as untouchable, and he was not allowed to fetch water from the well, lest some drop from his bucket would pollute the entire water of the well. how did they know that he was not an untouchable? कि उनको कैसे पता चलता कि गांधी जी was not an untouchable? क्योंकि two reasons were there. They took Gandhiji as a peasant. First of all, he was accompanied with Rajkumar Shukla. Moreover, Gandhiji was dressed in very simple khadi. So, in appearance also, he was just like a simple poor peasant. So, that is the reason they allowed him to sit on the ground, as well as they did not permit him to draw water from the well. Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur, which was en route. En route means on the way. To Champaran to obtain a more complete information about the conditions than Shukla was capable of imparting. Imparting means passing on or giving. So Gandhiji decided to go to Muzaffarpur first. And why he decided to go to Muzaffarpur? As he wanted to get more complete information about the conditions of the sharecropper, which Rajkumar Shukla was not able to give. It means he wanted to get some more information about the case. He accordingly sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had seen at Tagore's Shanti Niketan school. And now, before reaching Muzaffarpur, Gandhiji sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani. Who was Professor J.B. Kriplani? Professor J.B. Kriplani was a professor of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur. And Gandhiji had met him at Tagore Shanti Niketan school. So he knew him, he already knew him. So before he went to Muzaffarpur, he sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani. The train arrived at midnight, 15th April 1917. Kriplani was waiting at the station with a large body of students, and when train arrived at the station, it was midnight of 15th April 1917, and Professor J.B. Kriplani was waiting for Gandhiji with a number of students. Gandhi stayed there for 2 days in the house of Professor Malkani, a teacher in a government school. And when he was in Muzaffarpur, he stayed for 2 days in the house of Professor Malkani. Who was Professor Malkani? He was a teacher in a government school. It was an extraordinary thing in those days, Gandhi commented, for a government professor to harbor. To harbor means to give shelter, to entertain a man like me. A man like me. Me means a man like Gandhiji. Gandhiji said that. Gandhiji commented. Gandhiji said that it was very extraordinary. It was remarkable thing in those days for a government professor, for a government teacher to give shelter to a man like Gandhiji. In smaller localities, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule. Gandhiji said that at that time, in smaller localities of India, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule. It means the Indian peoples were not allowed to help the advocates of home rule. So students, maybe you read in 10th class about the home rule. Actually, Home Rule League, uh, this is an organization, actually not one but two short-lived organizations with the same name established in India in April and September. One in Pune and second one in Chennai. And Indian lawyers were the members of these groups, these organizations. One Home Rule League organization is set in Pune in 1916, led by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and another Home Rule organization was set in Chennai, led by a British social reformer and Indian independence leader Annie Besant. So, as these lawyers helped Indian people, they worked for Indian people. So, Britishers did not allow anyone to help them. The Indian peoples were not allowed to help or to give shelter to these advocates. So that is the reason Gandhiji said that it was an extraordinary thing in those days for a government professor to harbor, to give shelter a man like Gandhiji, because he was one of the members of Home Rule. The news of Gandhiji's advent means arrival, and of the nature of his mission spread quickly through Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. And Gandhiji said that when he reached Muzaffarpur, the news of his arrival spread very quickly throughout Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. Sharecroppers from Champaran began arriving on foot and by conveyance to see champion. Their champion. Who was their champion? Gandhiji. So sharecroppers from different part of Champaran started coming to see Mahatma Gandhi, to see their champion. Muzaffarpur lawyers called on Gandhi to brief him. It means the lawyers were also called by Gandhiji to brief the case, that what was the case which they took to the law court. They frequently presented peasant groups in court. They told him about their cases and reported the size of their fees. And when these lawyers were called, they told Gandhiji about their cases which they represented in the court, and they also briefed the case and reported the size of their fees they charged from poor sharecroppers, poor people. Gandhi chided the lawyers. Chided means criticized, scolded. So, Gandhi chided the lawyers for collecting big fees from the sharecroppers. Means those lawyers, the lawyers who took the cases of sharecroppers in the court, they took a very big fees, a big amount from these poor sharecroppers. For that, Gandhiji scolded them. He criticized them for taking such a big amount from the poor people. He said, I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to the law court. Taking such cases to the courts does little good. Little good means almost no good. It did not give any benefit. So finally, Gandhiji took a decision, and he said that he had come to the conclusion that they should stop going to the law courts, because according to Gandhiji, taking such cases to the court was not beneficial. Where the peasants are so crushed and fear-stricken, law courts are useless. And Gandhiji said that in the law courts, it means no need to take such cases in the court, where the peasants, the poor farmers, they are crushed, they are suppressed and very much afraid. So, in that condition, taking such cases to the law court were useless. It means the peasants were not free to express their feelings. They were not free to speak in the law courts in front of the British authority. So taking such cases to the law court is useless. Gandhiji said that the people, the Indian people, the poor sharecropper, they were afraid of the Britishers. They were not free to speak anything. So what is the use of taking such cases in the court? The real relief for them is for the peasants, for the poor sharecroppers, is to free from fear. It means Gandhiji said that if they really wanted to do something for them, then first of all, free them from the fear of the Britishers. So he said that the real relief for the peasants was to be free them from the fear. Most of the arable land in the Champaran district was divided into large estates owned by Englishmen and worked by Indian tenants. Tenants means the people who take something on rent. So most of the arable means cultivated, उपजाऊ भूमि जिसको आप कहेंगे. Most of the arable land in Champaran district was divided into large estates, and these large estates were mastered by the English landlords, British landlords, and who worked over there. The Indian peasants worked there. The Indian tenants worked there. The chief commercial crop was indigo, and at the time the chief commercial crop was indigo, नील की खेती. कि सबसे जो chief main जो commercial crop थी वो क्या थी? नील की खेती. The landlords compelled all tenants to plant 3/50 or 15% of their holdings with indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent. This was done by long-term contract. And according an ancient arrangement, most of the cultivated land in Champaran was divided into large estates owned by the British landlords and worked by the peasants. And the landlords compelled the peasants to plant 15% of their land with indigo, and after that they had to surrender the entire indigo crop as rent. Means 15% जो भी लैंड वो खेती करने के लिए लेते थे, उस लैंड के 15% हिस्से पे उनको क्या उगाना होता था? Indigo. And after that they had to surrender the entire indigo crop as a rent, कि उनको as a rent उनको दे देना पड़ता था. And this was done by long contract, कि बहुत ही long contract पे के बेस पे एग्रीमेंट पे ये सब हो रहा था. So children, up to this we read that how Gandhiji decided to visit Champaran on the request of Rajkumar Shukla. He decided to visit Champaran. First of all, he went to Rajendra Prasad's house, but unfortunately he was out of home. He was out of station. The servants knew Rajkumar Shukla as a poor peasant who pestered their master to help the sharecroppers. Afterwards, Gandhiji went to Muzaffarpur. He sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kriplani. Professor J.B. Kriplani, along with his students, he came there to receive Gandhiji at the railway station, and for 2 days Gandhiji stayed in the house of Professor Malkani. Very clearly, Gandhiji said that at the time it was an extraordinary thing for a government teacher, for a government professor to give shelter to a man like him, as he was a member of Home Rule. After that, the news of Gandhiji's arrival spread very quickly through Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. Sharecroppers started coming to meet Gandhiji. Gandhiji called lawyers who took their cases into the law court. And when Gandhiji came to know about the cases and the fees charged by these lawyers, he decided not to take such cases in the law court because the peasants were afraid of the Britishers. They were suppressed by the British landlords. They were not free to express themselves. So he said that uh, taking such cases in the law court was useless. And if they really wanted to do something, then they had to do something to release them from the fear. After that, we discussed about the ancient agreement, ancient arrangement which was there at the time in Champaran, why the poor peasants were known as sharecroppers. Most of the cultivated land was divided into large estates and poor peasants worked there. And according to that settlement, they had to plant Indigo crop on 15% of their land, and after that they had to surrender it to the British landlords as a rent. So rest of the part we'll do in our next lecture beta. Okay.